Boundaries are limits you put in place in various aspects of your life to protect your mental health and sanity. Relationship boundaries are the limits partners in a romantic relationship place in various aspects of their lives to control how they are treated in the relationship and ensure that their mental health is protected. Setting or having boundaries may seem like an unnecessary thing to be put in place in a relationship, but boundaries will go a long way in saving and preserving your relationship. You might be having a very beautiful relationship presently, but if you do not set boundaries, you may struggle with finding balance and harmony with your partner. This is because having or setting boundaries lets your partner know where they stand with you and prevents additional and unnecessary conflicts and misunderstandings in the relationship. The boundaries you set determine how emotionally close you let people get to you. Your boundaries in a relationship are where you draw the line within a relationship. They tell how much you are willing to give or take before requiring that things change or deciding to call it quits in the relationship. The boundaries you have in your relationship can be used to determine how healthy your relationship is. There are different types of boundaries in a relationship. We have emotional boundaries, sexual boundaries, financial boundaries, and physical and personal boundaries. Your boundaries are the rules of how others learn to behave around you, how you want to be treated, and what you will accept and what you will not. They are based on your own needs and wants. It is not selfish, rude, pushy, or self-centered to create these boundaries. It is understanding your value, knowing your priorities, and making sure that others do as well. It is about you creating the space and time for you to refresh, flourish, and achieve your career goals and your life dreams. Remember, you can only be of service to others if you are strong and empowered and your feet are solidly on the ground. And these qualities can only originate from within you. That is why you need to have boundaries in your relationship. Many people do not know what boundaries are or the importance of them in a relationship. Here are some of the importance of boundaries in a relationship. Number 1. Boundaries promote closeness. Is it not better to take it as it comes and allow your partner to feel free in the relationship? Will my partner not feel as though I'm doing too much if I draw a line they are not meant to cross, even in the relationship? Boundaries will not push your partner away. Rather, they will bring them closer to you. The common belief that having strong and healthy boundaries will push everyone in your life, including your partner, away from you, is not exactly true. Contrary to these popular beliefs, boundaries will let others and your partner get close to you in a healthy way because that is the true goal of boundary setting. Proper boundaries allow you to have close relationships that respect the needs of all involved. They enable you to be independent and interdependent at the same time. A relationship where there is codependency is not a healthy one, and it shows that there is a lack of boundary in such a relationship. When you have good and healthy boundaries in place, your partner will be close to you without stepping on your toes, as long as you let them know where you stand. Setting boundaries is a kindness you can do for yourself as well as for those you are close to. Number 2. Boundaries define ownership and responsibility. When you are in a romantic relationship, how do you identify things that are yours? In a romantic relationship, the things that belong to you are not always tangible things like cars, houses, or garages, as in the relationship you share with your neighbor. In a romantic relationship, the boundary draws a line that helps define where you stop and your partner starts. It creates natural limits. These limits are not to create a wall in a sense between the two of you, but it is to work to your benefit when each partner understands them and agrees to abide by them. In other words, boundaries differentiate what is your responsibility in the relationship from that of your partner. It tells what each person in the relationship is responsible for. Each partner is responsible for their words, body, preferences, values, attitudes, and emotions. For instance, if you do not want to be touched in a certain way by your partner because it feels bad, you have every right to say no. If you say harsh or unkind words to your partner, you should take responsibility for those words and apologize. Also, if your partner asks you why you are quiet and want to be left alone, you have a responsibility to talk with them to try and help them understand what you are feeling instead of letting them guess. These are ways boundaries a relationship makes it healthy. It lets you know what you are to do and what is not permitted in a relationship. Number 3. Boundaries eliminate blame. When you set healthy boundaries in romantic relationships, it greatly reduces the chances of playing the blame game. Blame is always used to deflect ownership of a problem and to shy away from responsibility. When you take responsibility for the part or role you played in the misunderstanding, conflict, or harsh treatment, and your partner is also willing to take responsibility for their part, it becomes much easier to resolve the problem. Without taking responsibility, the issue becomes worse and more difficult to resolve. When you set good and healthy boundaries in your relationship, when there is a misunderstanding or conflict, you and your partner will honestly own your part in the problems you are having and work together toward healing and restoring your relationship. When these lines of responsibility or boundaries are clear and respected by each person, emotional intimacy has a strong foundation to grow upon. But when boundaries are not understood or respected, problems arise. Boundaries will give you time to recognize where your faults are when there is a crisis in a relationship so you can deal with them. Sometimes, when there is a conflict between both spouses, it is just because they do not appreciate each of the impacts on the relationship. So when there is a boundary set after a short time, they will realize that it is not the other person's fault, but yours to deal with so that there can be more revival for love for each other. Number 4. Boundaries create trust and build healthy relationships. The boundary is important in a relationship because it creates trust and also you have a healthy relationship. Even when some people do not like what you do, they will likely still respect you for standing up for what you believe in. Boundaries also generate safety in relationships. When there are boundaries, many excesses will be cut off from each other, so there can be more effective, and then your privacy is respected. You and are more likely to feel heard, validated, and appreciated. But most of all, when you set boundaries, you will not be taken for granted by anyone. Number 5. It brings self-care and self-respect. Setting healthy boundaries in a relationship is part of self-care and self-respect, and should help form the base of your leadership. It is being assertive without the need for being aggressive. Healthy boundaries can help you define your uniqueness and your core. Saying no assertiveness to a new commitment means you are honoring your existing ones. Boundaries are not just about getting what you want. It's about getting to live your life on your terms. Setting healthy boundaries gives you the ability to express your thoughts and how you feel in a way that communicates your needs. Healthy boundaries help you effectively listen and see other points of view while still respecting your own. It helps you practice self-respect by standing your ground. It helps you avoid future conflicts and resentment. It also helps you set reasonable consequences. When you set boundaries, you will care for yourself better. It is no longer only about others' needs, but about yours as well. You count. You matter. Sometimes, people hesitate to create and maintain boundaries in a relationship because they feel it will take away from the spontaneity and romance. But in truth, boundaries help you create a safe space for intimacy and respect to grow so that each partner can be vulnerable. Healthy boundaries reflect each person's ability to understand and communicate their own needs, likes, and dislikes. They also discourage manipulation, jealousy, and one-sided communication. Healthy boundaries involve communicating to your partners who you honestly are and what your beliefs, values, and personal limitations are. In this way, respect and acceptance are encouraged, rather than adjusting for the other person and developing feelings of resentment and feeling incomplete.